Everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat. Everyone, we wish everyone a good Mayid, more than the Simcha. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Seder. Baruch Hashem, we had a nice Seder here. It was quiet, Baruch Hashem. Haidul Hashem Ki Tov. And okay, we're starting now. We counted the first night of Sefira last night. Whoever didn't count, you can still count right now. Okay, and this rule goes along the whole time we are in Sefira. Okay, if anyone forgot to count at night, but yet they remember to count during the day before Shkia of the next day, so then they can count without a blessing the next day, right? During the day, and then the next night they can resume making the blessings. Exactly. All right, here we go. So we're learning from a sefer called Usfartem Lachem. It's a beautiful sefer. We've done this project before, and we're going to understand a little bit deeper now, hopefully, with Siyata Deshmaya, of course. So, Midas, this is the Midah of Chesed Shebechesed. Wow. Very powerful. Chesed Shebechesed. So he says like this: Bein Adam Lamokim, between us and Hashem. How does this work? Yisbainin Adam Bedatay. Person should think well, think deeply. The Chazdei Hashem is Baruch, and all the chasodim that Hashem does for us. Ad Kamuhu Meitiv Im Briov Bichlal V'Imay Befrat. How Hashem does so good in the world in general, and all the chasodim that we have in our own lives. Think about them. Yitein alibay she'enay kedai ve'enay royu lechazdei Hashem yisbarach ve'am im kol zeh hu rav chesed lehetiv imay chesed chinam. When you think of the person thinks to himself and he says, "Wow, I got a lot of chesed in my life. Am I worthy? Am I really worthy of all this chesed that I have in my life? Am I worthy of all this chesed?" When I realized, wait a second, this is chesed chinam. Hashem is giving me all a free gift. It's free chesed. The same way when Hashem made the world for 26 generations, right? For 26 generations, the world ran on chesed chinam, free. Hashem just did it because Hashem created the world, and He created the world in a way of olam chesed yibana. Hashem built the world on the premise of chesed. This will you'll come to love Hashem. When you realize, wow, Hashem is giving me so much in my life, and am I really worthy of it? No. But Hashem is giving me so much in my life, so then if Hashem is giving you so much, of course you're going to come to love the Rabbeinu Shalom. Right? The same way if you have somebody that's very, very nice to you, and he's giving you, always taking care of you, so you love the person. Right? So here, if we realize really HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even if someone is doing that, realize he's only doing that because Hashem is having him do it. So it's all, you always give the credit back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you'll be masig the midah of chesed. You'll understand the midah of chesed through the chesed that you experience. Midah of chesed shebechesed, right? The day is chesed shebechesed. So how do you understand? You have the chasadim of Hashem, right? And then when you realize that those chasadim are coming from Hashem because He loves me, and you come to love Hashem, so then that's chesed shebechesed. Got it? You understand? Because we have to realize all what Hashem gives us, and spend a little time today doing that. That's how we can do this. This is the project that we keep learning in Likutey Halachos, this idea that Pesach is the idea of the first night, is the idea of the zricha, right? You have that zricha, you have such a light. Wow, you get such a light, and then Hashem takes it away. But we have the rishimu. We have that. We have that. Remember, we could remember how that was amazing, and I want that back again.
The one that happens on Pesach night.
Yeah.
We get the big light, and then it's taken away right away on the same day, right?
And during the day.
Yeah.
And the night is called Leil Shimurim, right? It's the Leil Shimurim, right? So it's a night that we watch. HaKadosh Baruch gives us so much. But now, But then you feel like a little bit down. You feel a little bit down. That's why the Jews outside of Eretz Yisrael need another Seder, because they they have nothing to lift them up, so they need another Seder. All right, now what are we going to do? Okay, Baruch Hashem. We have the midah of Chesed Shebechesed. Then we can see here now, Chesed Shebechesed. Let's say we could now. Let's learn one piece from Bein Adam L'Chaveri. That's Bein Adam L'Makom. Aleph. Yistakel al Maaseh Chaveroi ba'ayin tova uvahava. Look at the things that people do for you, your friends, family, and look at it and with a good eye. Don't look at it to be critical. Look at it to be good. Try to look at it to be good. And then of course you'll come to judge the person favorably. We learned that. That's already good. That's right? That's Reish Pei Beis. In Likutey Maharan, to Reish Pei Beis, right? Judge everyone favorably, even judge yourself favorably. And then if you see good in your friend, you'll wind up doing chesed. If you see your friends doing chesed for you, so you'll do chesed. So the kohen, if you could do chesed with a kohen, how do you like that? Mordechai, do chasadim with a kohen. Right? If you do chesed with a kohen, or you can do chesed with so by you doing this, you're what? There we go. Midas chesed ba'atzma. You use the midah of chesed to do more chesed. Find the chesed the person is doing to you, and then you wind up returning back to do chesed again. Midas chesed shebechesed. Okay, and then the zman yishtadol la'asais chesed b'yoyim u'v'boker. We know that the chesed is the midah of Avraham Avinu. The tefillah of Shachris was established by Avraham Avinu, is attributed to Avraham Avinu, right? And because of that, we do the chesed in the morning. That's the most opportune time. And then there are the Kinyan Torah. The Kinyan Torah today is Talmud. Learn Torah. Want to be kind of Torah? Learn Torah. Okay, that's our learned thing for today. Chesed shebechesed. Okay, now. Let's take on, we're in Likutey Halachos. Baruch Hashem, Hilchas Birchas Hareach, we're in Halacha Dalid, and today we're up to Chav Hey, right? I think we're up to 25? 25. Okay. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, here we go. So here we go. So this lesson is based on lesson 8 in Likutey Moran Tinyana. Okay, this what we're learning here in Halacha Dalet. V'shvil zeh anu maschilin achshav mikriyas parshas Shkolim ki achshav haschola shel ha'geula v'tikin kol ha'lamayis hu mipurim k'may she'muvan mirim zeh devarav hakadoshim she'Rabbeinu zorachan l'bracha b'Torah in Ayin Daled, ala posik mi Mitzrayim, v'lo yeru pnei reikam shehu Roshei Teva is Purim. How do you like that? Mi Mitzrayim v'lo yereyu pnei reikam hu Roshei Teva is Purim. Sh'ama oz ki mitchila hayu kol ha'ascholos mi Pesach hu shehu Yetzias Mitzrayim v'achshav v'posek be'emsa v'lo yisiyam devarav. Mitaych devarav hevanti achshav schola mi Purim. Now Reb Noson says we know there's the rule is you're supposed to start studying about Pesach 30 days before Pesach. What's 30 days before Pesach? Purim, right? So really at the Suda Purim you're supposed to take out the Shulchan Aruch and study Halachos. So now we're going to try to understand what is this connection between Purim and Pesach. Right? Purim we had a Geula, and Pesach we had a Geula. So what is the connection between the two? Shu mechias Amalek. This is the idea of eradicating Amalek. Shu ikar hageula shel Mashiach ki reishis goyim Amalek. Right? Well, we're actually doing that right now. We're working on getting rid of Amalek right now in Iran. Right? We're working on doing that. It's amazing. And we learned so many times, ki reishis goyim Amalek. Amalek is the one that says, reishis goyim. They say we're the first ones. Right? We learned about that even when it came to Yaakov Avinu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael. No, they say no, but we're reishis goyim Amalek. We first. We came first. U'melchama la'Hashem ba'Amalek midar dar, and we know the famous words. U'melchama la'Hashem ba'Amalek midar dar. The melchama, the war of Amalek, is via Hashem in every generation. Ad doirei shel Mashiach, until the time when Mashiach will come, and then that war will be done. So we could be expecting Mashiach now anytime, because we're in the middle of this war with to eradicate Amalek, and every time we have that, we have the opportunity to greet Mashiach. So hopefully we'll see him very, very soon. And this is what we learned before, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu always brings the refuah before the makkah. He always has the antidote before the plague, right? There's something, there's always the refuah is first. Ki Hashem Yisbarach rosh shebegolas ha'achroin hamar hazeh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw in our golas how bitter it is, how difficult it's going to be. See that? Amazing, right? Wow. Shu golas Edom, Shu Amalek. This is the golas where now is the golas Edom Amalek. Lo haya lanu kiyam chas v'shalom ki im loi sheyam shechaleinu ara nifla v'atzuma miketza achroin shu gula achroin shel Mashiach. So that we learned this concept. In other words, where are we getting the ability to keep going now? We're tapping in to the time of Mashiach. We tap into it. In other words, we're tapping into the Chiddush HaOlam, and the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mechadish the world all the time. We're tapping into that now, right? And that's what's giving us the ability to keep going. Ki kol ma'asha choyle gadol b'yoyse tzrichin la'achi yoyse b'refuas v'chiyos yikorim b'yoyse. Right? We know the principle, right? If somebody has a little headache, so they could take some aspirin, take some Tylenol, whatever, and it'll go away. But if a person is very sick, he needs very fine drugs to be able to. He needs very very advanced drugs. Maybe we'll put it like that: advanced drugs in order to be able to help him. V'al came with the flois of a gedolim hiktim refuah lamakah v'asa imanu niflois v'nayrois gedolis b'yamei Mordechai v'Esther kishaman aleim haman arasha to what?
No, I'm just reading.
Geza Amalek Yimach Shemai. I think that should have been actually Zera Amalek. But okay, whatever. I think it's a mistake. But either way. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in other words, he was makdim the refuah to the makkah. What was the makkah? The makkah was, of course, Amalek, Haman, that wants to eradicate the Jewish people, and of course, Achashverosh is happy with that, right? But he had put into the palace, Esther Amalka was in there. And that was what we learned. That's what he made the refuah, was before the makkah itself. Even though the refuah seemed like it was a terrible atrocity, right? That you take this girl and put her into the thing. But again, this is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, in a way that you always have bechira, right? Always to have bechira, to always see, wow, if she was taken into the palace, so obviously Hashem has an idea for that. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to judge, right? That's our bechira. Right, and our bechira is constantly to see the situation and attribute it back to Hashem. And Amalek was trying to figure out different ways how he can eradicate us, and we learned that was a very, very dangerous time for us, because we were not in Eretz Yisrael. Hashem Yisbarach hafach mehepech el hepech. Hashem flipped it over. V'heshiv loy machshavtei b'roishay. And he placed his machshavas literally on his head. He got hung on that tree, right? B'roishay. V'loy dai shenitzoylu Yisrael be'ezrosa Yisbarach af gam ha'oya mechias ha'molek yimach shemoy ad shal yedei zeh toikev v'neis himshichu ha'ora niflo ba'olam. He brought this amazing ha'ora into the world. There was something special brought into the world when that happened. There was something brought into the world. Something of Mashiach started to smell in the world. There was a sense. The reyach of Mashiach was already there. Shu ha'ora namsheches migula achroina. That'll be the end of the Amalek. Amalek will finally be done. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will eradicate Amalek. Milchama b'Hashem mimidor dar. It's Hashem's milchama. He will take care of it in the end of time. Kamu b'kisrei Arizal, b'divrei Rabbeinu Zal, zechron levracha, migoydel ha'ora nifla shebepurim, v'hayidei zeh ha'ora zoi shehiru aleinu Hashem yizbarach koydem binyan b'ayisheni v'churbanai. That the great Ha'ora Hashem Yisbarach brought upon us before we built the Bayis Sheni, and it was because the first one was destroyed. Asher Yaradnu Peloyim. We have so much troubles now. I mean, look at the troubles that we have. Look at Jews have troubles literally all over the world, wherever you are. Jews in Europe, Jews in America. Here in Eretz Yisrael, we're dodging these missiles all the time. Because when we built the second Beis Hamikdash, there was not a geula shleima. It wasn't a complete. It was a redemption, but it wasn't a complete redemption. Because we were still under the domain over Persia. Persia was still, they were still ruling. So we didn't have a real gula. Yeah, we got our Beis Hamikdash back, but we weren't really ruling. They were ruling us. The same way you have Iran today is trying to rule the world. The same exact. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. And they really want to run the world. They want to run the thing and destroy everything. That's all that's. History repeats itself again and again. It's fascinating. Baal Kain Meyoz Nechshav Yimei Agolas. And it's not for nothing that the troubles we're having now is again with Paras, with Iran. It's amazing. It's not for nothing. It could have been a different country. Why is it now this country? Same exact thing again. Nechshav Yimei Agolas. Kamuvim b'Perish Rashi ala Posek. V'shivuyim shivim uvitzoik ha'itim. Right, at the time of the Beis Hamikdash Sheni, we were under the kingdom of Paras. We were under the kingdom of Paras, and they were still in. We had to pay taxes, and they were ruling. They were the ones that were ruling. It says the Navi Daniel. Okay, v'al kein hiktim Hashem yizbarach refuah ayidei ara nifla nemsheches ayidei anei shel Purim b'chol shana v'shana. And every year we have this. It's a reawakened again, and there's a new aura of the same idea of the geula in the world again. Ad asher achshav kol hascholos mipurim hu bechinas geula achroina shu mechias hamolek v'afilu mitzvahs Pesach. Even the mitzvah Pesach, how you see we're tying this together now. Isn't it amazing? Mitzvah Purim and Pesach. V'afilu mitzvahs Pesach. That we need, liyos nizharin, michometz ein anu yecholim l'kayim shleimus ki'im al yedei Purim. The mitzvah, we're keeping Pesach now, Baruch Hashem, on the schus that we had Purim. How you like that? The schus that we had Purim, we're able to keep Pesach now. K'maisha Kosev. Sham Rabbeinu Zchon Levracha Shal Yedei Mitzvahs Purim Yecholim Liyas Nizara Mechametz BePesach. How you like that? And that's why you learn Hilchos Pesach by Purim, right? Because if you have the holiday of Purim, and you understand that it was really Hashem Because the whole thing of Purim was not to find. You can't find Hashem in the Megillah, right? But we recognized it was Hashem, as we're going to learn soon. It was Kimu Mashe Kiblu. We found HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that was the beauty, and that's where the Ahava came from. You understand? We came to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like the Midah today, Chesed Shebechesed. Right? We came to love HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Purim. We came to love the Rebbe Yishla. That way we can keep Pesach now and recognize Hashem's kindness during Pesach. Ayin Sham. Nimsa she'achshav haschola shel kedusha anu tzrichim lahamshach aleinu mipurim. We have to draw this from Purim, as we did. Hascholas haneis v'asimcha shel Purim anu maschilim miparshas shkolim. And where does it really start from? The first of the parashiyas, the Arba parashiyas that we read before Purim, we start with Parshas Shkolim. Ki be'echad ba'adar, Ki be'echad ba'adar, in the first of Adar, Mashmiyin ala Shkolim. We start talking about it says in the Masechta Shkolim, right, when it comes to Chodesh Adar, people start getting their money ready to give their contribution, the Matzah HaShekel, to the Gizbar. Because the miracle of Purim came about via the Shkolim that we gave before. Every year we gave our Matzah HaShekel. As the Gemara says in Masechta Megillah on Yud Gimel Amud Beis 13b, ala posik v'aseres alofim kika kesef eshkol. Haman says to Achashverosh, I'll count for you 10,000 talents of silver. I'll count for you. Haman yamach shemay rotza levatel koyach shel hashkolim chas v'sholem. He wanted to nullify the koyach of our shekel. Our Machzas HaShekel. They wanted to get rid of our Schlusim. V'amar Kodesh Baruch Hu. But look at these words. Rosha, Kvar Kodmu, Shkeleim, L'Shkelecha, their Shkolim came before your Shkolim. So what are you trying to do? They already have the Schus of giving the Machzas HaShekel. What is it that you're going to bring your Shkolim now? They already had it. Because Haman Amalek is the Zuma, the impurity of the Nachash back then. It's one thing, it's one system. The Yetzirah, the Malach HaMaves, the Nachash, Amalek, it's all different names for the same entity. Haman Minatayra. Where does they ask the question? In Chulin, in Masechtas Chulin, on page 139b, Haman min haTorah minayin. Where do you know that Haman's in the Torah? How do you know Haman's in the Torah? So you know what they say? Hamin ha'etz. Hamin ha'etz. Oh, Hamin from the tree. Oh, Hamin is also Haman. Nimsa, we find. The whole point of the Nachash was again to confuse the Medameh, to confuse our imagination. What did the Nachash do with Chava? He confused Chava by thinking different things, right? He said, Hashem said, don't touch the tree, and he pushes her, right? She got mixed up. Misham kol ha'avodah zara of kfiras. I mean, that's where all avodah zara and kfira comes from. What? The medameh. The person thinks. He starts imagining. He starts imagining things. Oh, if I go to this avodah zara, it's going to be great. If I do this, it'll be great. Right? That's how everyone goes wrong. I mean, any criminal that's in jail, they're there. Why are they there? Because they use their imagination to think, I can do this. Even though the law says, no, I'm higher than the law, I'm invincible, right? There's imagination. But then they got caught. Shul bechinas Haman Amalek, shahaya kaifer gadol v'asa atzma yavodah zara. Haman again, had this big imagination, right? He used his imagination that he's a god, and he said people have to bow down to him. By us having the shkolim. Why is that our Be'er HaMedama? Why? Because what was our shkolim used for? Our shkolim was used for, the first shkolim were used for to make the adonim in the Mishkan. And then when we saw everyone gave in a parcel, it was an equal part and parcel of the adonim, the foundations of the Mishkan, and we saw the beautiful building, everyone felt, wow, I'm really part of something special. Right? It helped our medama, it helped our imagination. And then every time we would bring and we would give the machzor shekel every year for going, we would see the menorah, the oil by the menorah, the carbon hatamid that was brought in the morning, tamid shel shachar, tamid shebein arbayim. We would see the ketoras, and everyone would smell the ketoras even. All these things were part of our medama. The shkolim brought so much to us, but by giving the half a shekel. And through that we come into Pesach. Right, Purim, right, you start with Parashas Shkolim. So in other words, when we take out the Sefer Torah, we have Parashas Shkolim, you already have Pesach in the year. Pesach's in the year already, because that's the whole purpose. We're getting ready for the Chag of Pesach that we're now. Ki al yedei Purim, yicholim liyas nizar mechametz bePesach. Because via Purim, you could be saved from chametz on Pesach. We know what chametz on Pesach, even a mashuhu, even a little morsel, a person can chas v'shalom could be nichshel on Pesach, even by a mashuhu. We have the schus to be saved from eating chametz on Pesach. Where? From Purim. Where did that start? From Parshas Shkolim. And therefore Chazal tell us that when it comes to Purim, you start learning Hilchas Pesach. You can see this in Siman Chav Tes, Siman Aleph, Le'inyan Shoyelim V'doshim B'Hilchas Pesach, Shloishim Yom Koidim, 30 days before. If you take a look at the section of Hilchas Pesach in the Shulchan Aruch, it's massive, literally massive. Massive halachos, right? I mean, the things to understand from the planting of the wheat and how you harvest the wheat, and then how you do, and then all of the ideas of kashering the kalim and all it's amazing, really, truly amazing. The amount of halachas, but so you start learning it on Purim. Umaschilim b'yom Purim ba'atzmai ki ayidei Purim nichnasan lePesach, through Purim. It gives you the ability to get to the Pesach. Unbelievable. Now, so we started with Shkolim to bring us to Purim, which brings us to Pesach. And when Pesach, what's the point of Pesach? To bring us to Kabbalas HaTorah. In order to get the idea of Nevuah. And again, we said Nevuah is even when a person feels something, he gets or he gets some kind of awakening, and he feels, I need to do tshuva. That's a Ruach HaKodesh. That's a sense of Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach Nevuah. Levara Amedame. It all to fix our perspective in life, the things that we imagine. To start to imagine that I can go to sleep on time. I can get up in the morning. I can learn. I could do his Baidus. I could do these things. Imagine you could do it. Hakol, right? Iker Tachlis Hakol, that's the main thing of Chiddush HaOlam. Right? Emunas Chiddush HaOlam is the main thing. Ve'al kein kishemagian l'shvuas, shu Kabbalas HaTorah, koirim Parshas Bamidbar. And therefore, when we come to the time of Shvuas, right? Now we're in Sefer Vayikra, right? This next Shabbos will be Parshas Shmini. Right? This Shabbos we're reading for Pesach. But we're not reading Parshas. But next Shabbos, Hashem Abba Aleinu L'Tova, will be Parshas Shmini, right? And then we go through Sefer Vayikra. It's a short Sefer. When it comes time to Shavuos, we're ready to be up to Sefer Bamidbar. We're reading Bamidbar. Shemedaber mimisbar b'nei Yisrael shoya ayedei ashkolim. And we'll talk about the numbers, right? Sefer Bamidbar is known as the Book of Numbers, right? They call it in English numbers, right? They call it numbers, right? Right? You guys like always the English words for things, right? So Bamidbar is numbers. I don't understand how they got numbers out of Bamidbar, but okay. What?
You guys talking about the
No, because of the Shkolim. Okay. No, but if you wanted to translate it, I don't know how you get from Bamidbar numbers. The literal translation. Right? What? No, but it's way up, but it's really accurate. It's really accurate. The whole thing is the shkolim. When we saw that we were part of this group, when we added up the numbers, and wow, my number's in there, and I saw we saw the camps, and we saw our flags and all the different things that came about because each person was Nimsha Shaskolos for Seif Echad. The beginning and the end is really the whole thing, the whole idea. The Shkolim, we start with Shkolim and we end with Shkolim. Right? We start Shkolim to bring us to Purim to bring us to Pesach, and then by Shavuot we're already reading, before Shavuot we're reading the Parsha of Bamidbar. They were talking about the Shkolim again and the counting of the people. So we start with Shkolim and we end with Shkolim. Ki Haschola mi Parsha Shkolim v'akol b'shvil levar Hamadame. All these things are there in order for us to clarify our Medame. Shaydei ikra achnos hamalek hamalek, and that's how we'll really be able to come and subdue Haman Hamalek, which we should be successful in what we're doing right now. We're trying to subdue Haman Hamalek right now. That's what we're trying to do. And you see, it's not so easy. It's not so easy. But if we work on it and we understand about our shkolim and we understand about the idea of to clarify our medame, right? To clarify our medame, if we really work on that and we really work on and make ourselves better people through our imagination, and we can. Al kain kishemagian el hagamar, when we come to the end, right? Lekabel es haTorah, which is the idea of Beira Medame. That's the idea of clarifying our Medame. We're coming to be Mekabel the Torah B'Shuas, current Parshas Bamidbar. That's why we read Parshas Bamidbar. So if you see Parshas Bamidbar, when it comes to Shuas, you'll understand what's going on. What's the connection? It's all connected. Everything is always so beautifully connected. V'noad Seifai mitchilasai v'Seifai ki hakol echad. The beginning to the end to the beginning is all one, as we learned so beautifully now from Reb Noson. Okay? So now let's learn one halach in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Some people still want to daven at the 8-10 minute. You have to still do, yeah, okay. So we'll do a halacha so you can still make it downstairs. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. One halacha today. We're in the halachas of melicha, of salting. And today I think we're up to 8. Are we up to 8? I think we're up to Ches, right? Mm-hmm. So for those that are following along inside Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, we're in Siman Lamed Vav, which is 36, okay, which is the laws of salting. And today we're up to letter Ches, which is 8. So 36, 8. Hamelach lo yeh dak ma'oid kekemach. When you have your salt, that you use to salt the meat, it shouldn't be very fine salt. You don't want fine salt. You don't want it to be like flour, fine salt. Because if it's very fine salt and there's blood on the meat, the salt will just get a part of the blood. It'll look disgusting, and it won't extract the blood. The salt is too thin, too fine. It can't extract anything. It'll become part of the thing itself, the blood itself. And but don't have too big pieces of salt. Because if the pieces are too big, it'll fall off the meat, so it won't do it either. Like we said the other day, when you wash the meat, when you soak the meat, make sure you dry the meat, but it should still be a little damp, not wet, but damp a little bit, so that way when you put the salt on it, the salt will stick. That's the main thing we want. Ella yehi beinani, it should be a beinani, it should be not too thick, not too thin. The salt should be in between, like we have today, the kosher salt, we call it. Kosher salt, right? Yehi beinani k'may hamelach shenasa yedei abishul, like the salt that you use to cook. Right? There were people who used to use salt, kosher salt. I don't know, do you use kosher salt or something?
Only.
Huh?
Only kosher salt.
That's all you use in your house?
For cooking, always.
Gas. Yeah, I know.
Gas means
Thick salt, yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, okay. V'yehei yovesh sheyis pazer heitev, and it should be dry, so it should what do you call it? I guess to stick good to the meat. You want it to stick good. Spread it out. You're supposed to spread it out on the meat. So therefore, evenly. So that way it'll all be covered. As we're going to learn the next halacha, it has to be covered totally. The meat has to be covered totally with the salt. So that way you can extract the salt. So you don't want thin salt, because then the salt will become mias, it'll become disgusting because it'll get mixed in with the blood. You don't want too thick, because then it'll fall off. But you have the beinani, it'll stick, and if it sticks, Amir Hashem, it'll be able to take the blood out, and that's what we're trying to do. Okay, we should all have a wonderful Shabbos, and Moadim L'Simcha. Kol Tov, everybody.